You're listening to the Smash Bros. Cast episode 43. I'm your host, N64 Josh. My sparring partner, Nightcrawler. What's up, dude?
That's me. How's it going?
It is going well. It is going well. We got some stuff to talk about this week.
We do?
So much for these half-hour episodes. They're just out the window. Forget it.
They don't exist anymore.
They don't exist. They
hardly existed in the first place.
That's true. That's true. Well, before we jump into this, guys, if you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/SBC. Pick up something awesome like Console Wars or Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in is from OPC. Go to n64josh.com/OPC. You automatically save $10 at checkout. And if you'd like to get an extra show each month for just $1 and help support the content that we create, it's patreon.com/n64josh. I think we're going to have to, maybe jump into some announcements here. All right. Well, guys, I stream 4 or 5 days a week minimum during the week, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. So come hang out if you want to do some viewer battles and things like that. That's on twitch.tv/N64Josh. We do this show live on twitch.tv/N64Josh, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Fridays. All right. And Crawler, do you have your stream schedule quite yet?
I try to be live on Monday afternoons, Thursday afternoons, Wednesday nights. It kind of just depends. A lot of times I'm working with a 3-month-old that sometimes sleeps, sometimes doesn't, sometimes a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old that don't sleep. So it all just depends. But those are at least times that I shoot for.
All right. And that's twitch.tv/Nightcrawler without the E.
Nightcrawler 724.
724. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Guys, we do have a tournament scheduled for the second Saturday in January. That's like just about a week away here. So we're going to have more details about that. I'm going to try to work on some stuff this weekend. And the Discord is the best place to find out about that. That's n64josh.com/Discord. And I got to say hello to all the new people that are showing up in Discord. It is crazy how fast it is growing. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being there. I'm seeing so many people talk Smash and everything else, really, like so many Smash battles going on, though. I really, really digging it. So
make sure you guys say hello to Hate Zero when you come into the Discord. He feels lonely sometimes.
Oh, great. That's going to be everybody. We should, we're just going to say everybody right now, if you're listening to this, when you hear it, just get on the Discord and tag at Hate Zero and say hello. How you doing today? How you doing, Hate Zero? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Okay, well, we are going to get to some tournament news. All right, so let's make moves. Took place Saturday, 12/29.
Yeah, I think it was in the tri-state region, New York area. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, did you get a chance to watch much of it?
I was super busy this weekend, so I did not.
Yeah,
but
dude.
I peeked in. I peeked in on the grand finals a little bit here when we were getting ready for the show, and just kind of watched a little bit of that final. It went down quick. We can kind of go through the rundown here, but Tweak took it with I don't know if he used Wario throughout, but at least in grand finals he used Wario, and he beat DeBuzz. And taking third was Larry Lurr, and then Nairo took fourth.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, this weekend was so bonkers for me. I did not get a chance to. I've been and I'll talk about it later on, but all of my playing of Smash has been in handheld mode. I haven't even really had the chance to sit down.
You said you did single Joy-Con too, right? Didn't you do one single Joy-Con?
A little bit of single Joy-Con, yeah, just because we were we had a bunch of family and we were trying to get 4-player Smash going.
Well, fun fact, that's not the only way. That's the only way to play wirelessly 8-player Smash. Which I didn't realize that until I think I heard that on the IGN podcast. But the Switch doesn't support 8 Pro controllers being connected to it. It counts a Pro controller as like 2 controllers.
Oh, kind of like if you were using 2 Joy-Cons in the grip. I see.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
if you want to play 8-man Smash, you have to have two GameCube adapters, and or maybe you can mix and match wireless with that. But yeah, fun fact, I guess.
There you go. Don't recommend playing it with a single Joy-Con, but hey, it works. It works. So, okay. Well, we've got our little countdown going here. Take it away, my friend.
Alrighty, we are 4 weeks away, 28 days. You and I will probably have, I'm assuming we will have already played some matches in pools by this point in 4 weeks, because I think they're making special considerations for some people that are arriving late. So if we're there and checked in, I'm sure we're going to have an early match in the morning. But we are 4 weeks away from Genesis, and we're going to talk a lot more about Genesis here in our talking points. I'm excited.
We get to meet in person, dude.
We do.
I hope you're prepared to be disappointed.
That's all we do, right?
Pretty much. Okay, well, we're gonna jump into the Smash news here. All right, so we're seeing these weekly Spirit events, and this week it's all about the Famicom and the NES. Classic.
Yeah.
Some classic stuff here. So, I still haven't played Spirits.
Have you done anything with this? Like, have you done Spirit board stuff at all?
No.
Like that you don't even have to click on World of Light to get into and do. You just click on Spirits and it's right there.
Negative. Negative. Not anything. Nothing. No. Nothing.
Well, I mean, so I know that, there's a few people in Discord that were posting last night. I think Joel and Colt and some other people that are active in the Discord were talking about it. And I've been playing very casually through World of Light, but it's just a slog. It takes a long time. I think I have like 43 of the roster unlocked, but even that is just a long way going through that. And it's fun and creative, some of the stuff that they do for some of the fights. I'm trying to think of some of the examples, and I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but they're cute and creative with some of the ways that they do it, like having a character like be extra large or something like that, or have a specific item that would be more corresponding to the game character that they're trying to represent. So it's not always a character from that franchise that you would be fighting, but more sometimes a character that looks like it. So it's funny and creative sometimes, but it is very long. And I think a lot of people were criticizing it for not being as immersive as Subspace is. So it was fun, but I'm like 20 hours in. I don't know how much of that time is spent me with just having the game up, and I've walked away from it, but I know I'm a little more than halfway through, I think, but still I'm probably a little bit more. I've heard that the cutscene, I think I've seen that cutscene. The cutscene that you get, I think you're more closer to the end than you are the beginning, but it's a long way going through it. So you're not missing a ton. Some of those fights are very hard. But yeah, it's nice that they're doing these kind of small little events. But if anything, I think Smash is more of a sales pitch to go back and play back catalog games on Nintendo than anything. But people that have never played this can sell people on going and downloading the NES titles that are on the Switch, or going out and getting one SNES Classic or an NES Classic or anything like that, and experiencing those games that maybe they never played or anything like that.
Yeah, again, I haven't touched the World of Light or anything like that, but what I think is great about it is I know there are people that's all they're playing, and they're enjoying that, because it's like, to jump online and get just beat down is not fun for people. right? Like that can be pretty frustrating. So to have something like this that, I mean, 20 hours is what you just said you put into it. That's more than you've probably put into most of the games on your shelf, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, yeah, maybe it would have been nice to have finished it within that 20 hours, but it's still, I mean, that's still, it's a good thing in my eyes, you know.
Yeah. And I'm just playing really casually on normal. Like, I know some people have turned it up to hard. Some people have, even if you're struggling, I don't think you can change the difficulty on the fly while you're doing it, but if you want just a really easy laid back experience, you can just play through it on, there's 3 difficulty settings, so you can play it on easy.
Yeah, and I mean, from the streams I've seen of people doing it, like playing on hard with no spirits or anything, you know, so like you can really challenge yourself.
If you hate yourself.
So, you know, it's just cool to see that they're supporting it. The one thing I noticed, and you probably noticed it too, I talked about it on my other podcast. What is the little present thing in the Games and More? You know?
Yeah, I've seen that more because I've been more conscious of going into the what is that? Is it the extras or stats little subsection? Just because there is a shop that's how you can get a lot of music and Mii costumes and other things that you can purchase with your in-game currency that I hadn't been as in tune to, but that's sitting right next to that shop. So I don't know what that's for. I'm hoping that like eventually either I can buy something and send it to you as a gift, or I don't know. But I'm sitting like over 400,000 in-game currency or whatever. Just the money that you get at the end of a battle. It's just it doesn't mean anything. So just why not spend it and do something with it?
Yeah. I don't know what this thing is. I have no clue. But maybe when Piranha Plant drops, maybe that's where we're gonna see. Maybe that's where you got to go to unlock the character. You know, again, if Nintendo supports this game like they've done their other games, we're gonna keep seeing. Are we gonna get to the point that maybe there's more than just this? More than just these spirit events each weekend, but maybe some kind of like, you know, kind of like how they did on Splatoon, where they did like a heroes versus villains. Like, what if they did something like that, you know, where it was like we had a heroes versus villains, or, you know, these 3 characters versus these 3 characters, and whoever wins the most I don't know how it would play out,
or even like we've talked about in the like probably the first or second episode after the game dropped, like how EA and FIFA have like an online tournament for FIFA Soccer Online, like where you can play through a tournament bracket. If they can introduce that, or if we can get like a squad, like I haven't messed around in a lot in just the offline Smash little area, which has different stuff like Squad Strike and I think Century Smash and all sorts of stuff in that area. The only thing I've really done there was the cheese method to unlock every character, which I was just going in there doing 1 stock 2.5 minute battles just real quick, get my character, just because I haven't had anyone come over. And I mean, I guess at my local, that's where I was doing that, but that's a little bit different setting as well. But I mean, they could hopefully introduce some more online stuff, or even bring back Home Run Derby, or some of those other kind of just smash the target. I would love to see smash the targets, because while it's all well and great in the classic mode where you get to do the run challenge, that's the same for every character. And that was something that was unique, at least in 64. I didn't mess around a ton with the extra stuff in Brawl and Melee, but in 64, each character had unique smash the target stages to do. Like Captain Falcon could punch through a wall with Falcon Punch, and there were some targets that you couldn't get at unless you did that Falcon Punch through the wall. So I would love to see some creative old kind of classic game modes that they've had in previous games that they bring back and introduce.
What do you think Aces? I mean, the tournament mode in Aces it's great. The unfortunate thing is Aces is all tournaments for online, unless you're doing with well, I think you can do some it's just kind of really, the menus and everything are kind of convoluted, right? Whereas Smash is like quick play, but it's all GSP. So then everybody kind of assumes, oh, this is a rank. I don't want to mess with that. Like, but man, if we had like just tournament weekends where, you know, maybe you get a special costume for the character, even just a gold, you know, a gold version of a costume or something like that just was like, hey, you won the tournament for the weekend, some cool bragging rights, you know. I don't know, but I mean I loved the tournament stuff in Aces, but I just felt like if I just wanted to go and play casually with somebody that I didn't know, just wanted to kind of, you know, just play the game, whatever, that's where it kind of got kind of odd, you know, like they didn't have a quick play. That's what it needed just a quick play, like what Smash has. It was just like, oh, just go and play somebody.
Yeah, and I haven't played around with it short of me setting up my own arena or you setting up yours and me joining that one. I haven't played around. I think if you create just a public arena, that's where you can just do mess around games, I think, and it can be random. But I haven't messed around with that at all. Have you gone in just a random person's arena and tried to fight?
So it's actually one of my tips for later on. So we'll come back to it. We'll finish up with the news here, and then we'll get into some talking points. So the Smash Bros. Theme, the artist Abby Trott, who sings Lifelight, she's been interviewed. She was so stoked for this opportunity. So I'm going to read this quote from her. It says, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to audition through Cup of Tea Productions. And at the time, I had no idea what the audition was for. For the first round, I submitted a single demo. The second round involves singing a requested song, not Lifelight. And I ended up being cast and cried when I found out what the project was. As a lifelong fan of Nintendo, and being a part of Smash Bros. Ultimate is really special to me. I love Lifelight so much. So super cool to see, you know, just to kind of hear some of her perspective on it, and, you know, how it all goes down. Because you kind of wonder, you know, it's like, how do these things, you know? So I mean,
is it the same woman singing the Japanese version as well? I
do not. I'm 98% sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's two different artists.
I haven't listened to the two versions side by side enough to hear if it's the same person or not.
Yeah, I don't.
I was just curious if it mentioned that at all.
Well, there is a whole article that I can get the link for if you guys want to read more about it. So
yeah, we'll post that in the show notes if you guys want to take a look at that.
Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. Well, hey, let's get to the talking points. All right, so Genesis 6 rule set has been announced, and we're going to kind of break this thing down. Some of this stuff is kind of new to me, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to definitely have to sit down and figure this out, because I didn't want to sit down at my first match and then, you know, whoever I'm playing against is like, all right, yeah, so go ahead and, you know, ban your stage, whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought we were playing rock, paper, scissors, and then we were gonna, you know. So we're gonna kind of just break this thing down. 3 stocks, 8 minutes, hazards off, 5 starting stages. Which Twitter was on fire. I'm sure Reddit was as well, and you know. So what are those stages, Crawler?
So we have Battlefield, and I need to go back through. I put this in our notes here, but I'm not positive if it's official. But I believe you can do any form Battlefield. So you can pick anything with different background and different music if that's your choice. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. We'll double check that. But Battlefield, any form. Pokemon Stadium 2, Smashville, which Smashville plays just a little bit differently when there's no hazards. So there's just the one center platform, no side in and out platforms coming in. And then we have Final Destination, which again I think is any form, and then Lilac Cruise. So well, I'm interested to play Lilac without the tilt going on and see if that, but I'm also not sure if some of those videos pre-launch that had some ledge grabbing issues and clipping through the stage issues, I don't know if that's anything to do with Lilat specifically, if it was the hacked ROM of the game, or if that was legit footage or what. But Lilat's not everybody's favorite.
No.
And then there's more controversy coming here in the counter picks, which we'll get to here as well. So counter pick stages are Unova Pokemon League, Town and City, Kalos Pokemon League. Castle Siege is kind of the up in the air one that a lot of people are not sure of. And then we have Yoshi's Story, and then Yoshi's Island, and it's labeled as Brawl, but it's Yoshi's Island, so that's what it is. So yeah, those are the what does that end up being? That's 11, or is that 11 stages? 11 stages total.
Yeah. It's
all, and it's I think it's good that so like when I was at my local 2 weeks ago, we had a rule set that was hazards off and hazards on, because there's no easy, quick way to set in the stage select screen if you want hazards on or hazards off.
It needs to be fixed.
So yeah, and I think I saw, I don't know who it was that tweeted it out. I think it was TK Breezy tweeted it out, like, I can't wait for Nintendo to patch this game and they add the option to add hazards on and hazards off, so that the whole official stage list it won't change for Genesis, obviously, because they aren't going to, first off, it's not going to get patched before that. I think most likely to adjust this, but it also, Genesis, I don't think will change the rule sets once they put it out now. But yeah, I think that we'll see Fountain of Dreams and maybe some other potential stages come into play if that is a quick toggle, as opposed to having to back out and change hazards on, hazards off. Because even at my local, there were games that people would start, and especially on like Pokemon Stadiums, if you're playing on any of those are like, you're aware very quickly if you left hazards on and you're not supposed to,
because it changes to a completely different level. Yeah. So, and from my understanding, then hazards like on Smashville, what was it, the
so Lilac Cruise will be different. Smashville will be different. The Pokemon Stadiums obviously will be different.
Like Fountain of Dreams, that's just the plats moving up and down, right?
Up and down. Yeah.
So
I mean, that's not really. So I don't know maybe why that didn't get included, but maybe that does change. Well, then it would only be it'd only be the one platform up high, I guess, if that's the case. Or maybe they'd be static. I don't know.
I think they're static, which turns them into just a battlefield.
Well, it's
right.
Well, kind of. But those are so close to the edge. It's almost like a Pokemon Stadium with the platforms being so close to the edge that the neutral get up will put you immediately under a platform, versus a battlefield that gives you a little bit of space to move in to fight.
So I would have to do some testing with this, because I'm not entirely positive, but it seems to me that with Mario's up B from the ground, I can usually land on the top platform, but that's not consistent in every. I don't feel like it's consistent on every Battlefield stage, which makes me wonder if there are a little bit of differences in the platform heights. Now, I could be
the only thing that maybe could be different would be thickness of like the actual pass through the platform.
That could be, or it could be that I've played certain levels like Fountain of Dreams, in which case the middle platform is higher and you can't reach it. So I want to clarify this. I'm not saying that this is the way it is, but I do want to know if that is the case. You know, if there's just some small variations there, because I feel like I've played it enough. I know that my quick play setup is set for Battlefield, and there are times that I up B from standing, and I get up to that ledge, and there are times that I get like halfway through, and then my feet don't make it, and I fall back through. So.
And I wish there was a better way to practice this online, because I have my quick play set to Omega, and I mean, I get my fair share of Battlefields, just because that is, I feel like, the one thing that kind of gets interswapped in that in like 1 minute of time usually. So it's either, my quick plays are usually 6 or 7 minutes, usually always 3 stock, and either Omega or Battlefield. That's usually what I'm getting. But yeah, the only way, I think the best way for me to practice this is going to be, I have my Genesis. I went in on Tuesday or Wednesday, or Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember which day I made it, but after the rule set came out on the 2nd, I went in and I made my Genesis rule set here for arena battles, so I can just have it set on random, and I turned off everything else, and so I can just practice on these 11 stages, because I definitely want to practice. Castle Siege is a different kind of thing with the slant in the stage that affects Corrin, that affects King K. Rool, which are two that I'm planning on using, just because King K. Rool can't throw out Blunderbuss or Crown if you're down below, and it also affects just where it goes if you're up high. And then also Corrin can't do the pike lunge very consistently, depending on where I'm hitting at. So it just depends.
And the one stage I kept seeing a lot of people tweet about was it WarioWare? That has been being tested out by a lot of local Smash groups I know, and it's very short blast zones on the sides. So I think that's a lot of contention with that. I see.
But I mean, also looking at some of these stages, we have like Kalos Pokemon League, and I think one of the Yoshi's, I need to play them a little bit more. I think maybe one of the Yoshi's Islands have it's a continuous platform. It's not a floating platform.
Right.
So that affects Mario, that affects Diddy Kong, that affects Corrin, that affects I mean any character. I think Mega Man can. I'm not sure of all the characters that can Bayonetta. I mean, there's lots of characters that can do the
wall jump,
the ledge jump. Yeah, the wall jump.
Yeah.
So that affects recovery quite a bit when you're one of those characters. Mii's
are loud with any move set, and Crawler is shaking his head. Like I'm shaking my head too. Like I don't like them. I wish they weren't in the game, honestly. Like I just don't see it. If you're playing a game to, and part of that process is trying to learn your opponent's moves. And granted, there's only so many moves these things can do, but
so I mean, you and I both have research to do before Genesis, and like you were saying, they're going to have to be labeled. That is the one thing about the Mii's. They're going to have to be labeled with their moveset. But that means Josh and I are going to have to. I'm going to have to go find my Prima guide, and I'm going to have to look at all these movesets, and also get a general consensus of what is probably going to be the competitive standard, and then understand what those numbers mean. It's just a lot more understanding that you have to look at numbers as opposed to just seeing Incineroar and knowing what I'm dealing with or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
And so this in a competitive setting at a tournament, I think is a lot cleaner than what has upset me online with Mii's, and the fact that you don't know what you're dealing with. Josh, why don't you tell your Mii story real quick?
Oh, I think I did last week where I did
Okay.
We talked about it last week where
you went for a spike.
My spike turned into a counter to my demise, and I threw my controller. No, I didn't. But
so I mean, that's the biggest thing. I have problems with Mii's in quick play, just because you don't know what you're getting. And I think I think there were some moves that were maybe broken in Smash 4 that were certain combinations of move sets that were overpowered, but
plus they just look dumb.
They do. And some people make them look ugly.
Super dumb.
But the good news is that they're going to have to use stock skins. Right, so it's either going to be sword fighter, gunfighter, or brawler, and they're going to look like they do in their thumbnail. The only difference might be move sets.
Okay, so this next part of the list here, players cannot counterpick to a stage that they have won on, right? Banning will go player 1, player 2, player 2, player 1. Winner bans 2 stages. Loser picks the stage, and then we do have a link to the full rule set here. So is there anything else you want to break down for that? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
So yeah, so when you sit down, you can there in the full rule set there is an agreement. Like if you just want to sit down and somebody suggests, hey, can we just go Pokemon Stadium 2, and you're cool with that, you can agree on one of the 5 starting legal stages. The rule set states that you cannot. So some rules previously in Smash 4 and I'm sure some other tournaments currently going on, you can fight on an illegal stage if both of you are cool with it. Genesis is not allowing that, so you have to, if you want to agree without going through rock paper scissors and banning all that kind of stuff, then you guys can, if you can come to a gentlemanly agreement, then you can just start on a stage. But if you want to go through the process of picking, then you're going to sit down, you're going to do a best of 1 rock paper scissors. Player 1, whoever wins rock paper scissors, bans 1, and then player 2 bans 2, and then you get to ban the last one of 2 stages that are left on the starters, and then whatever stage is left, that's where you're fighting. And then if you win, then you have that 1-up advantage in the set. So you pick 2 stages that you absolutely don't want to fight on, and then the loser gets to choose. And then if it comes back to you as a winner, you don't get to select the same stage that you won on.
Right on. So, and like I said, we do have the full link. I might even try and include the picture here of the stages.
Yeah, we'll include the tweet. Well, the tweet has the picture and stuff too. I think we'll put the link to the tweet.
Okay, right on. Okay, well, hey, let's get into to our week with Smash. All right, so how's your week been?
I hit the highest I've been in GSP and then went down a little bit, but I think I'm hovering right around 2.1 GSP. I think I got as high as 2.2 or 2.3, right around there. It's been up and down a little bit. I've gotten frustrated and walked away a little bit this week, but also we had fun last night playing Arena with you, me, Super Nintendo. Who else was in there?
The big BLT, which I learned to say his name correctly, and Mel was in chat with us.
Yep.
And yeah. So
but yeah, I mean, I definitely tried to at least hop on. It's addictive. I mean, like I was trying to think the other night. I think it was Wednesday night. I had to wake up early for work. You and I wake up stupid early sometimes, but it was like I had played and went upstairs and watched a little bit of TV, and I ended up coming back downstairs and playing like another half hour, 45 minutes, just because I had finished at like 1.6. I have a thing in my head that I don't like to go to bed with my score lower than I started for the night, so I tend to go back downstairs sometimes and work on getting that back up. But if I can end usually somewhere within like 100,000, 200,000 of where, at least within 100,000 of where I was, then I feel good walking away that the game will probably boost me back up to where I was supposed to be when I'm logged off with GSP just going up randomly. But not randomly, I guess it's enough people lose. I feel like this hadn't happened yet in how many weeks that the game has been out. I had my first Corrin, at least maybe first or second Corrin Ditto. Oh. And yeah, there I was like a million above them, so it wasn't really that fair. But it was interesting. I hadn't had a Ditto really, I don't think. Maybe I had one early. Really seen that a whole lot, so it was good and interesting. I think I hit continue. I don't know if they did, but hopefully I maybe taught them something. I guess I was a million above them, so I felt it was a little unfair, which I don't understand sometimes how these quick play matchups work out.
I don't know that we'll ever really know, honestly. For me, it's been mostly in the lab. I've been spending a lot of time in there, and it's been handheld, right? And so, that's been that's been good. It's a little difficult jumping between the GameCube controller and the Joy-Cons, but it's not that bad. And if I remember to put my grip on, my hands don't even cramp all that much anyway. But it's just kind of nice to that grip definitely helps. So, but the I spent a ton of time working on movement, working on back airs, right? Just like working on back airs. And I think it was after last week's show, like, we jumped in and played, and like, we're at the point where we've invested quite a bit of time in Smash over the last, we're getting close to a year now, right? And so you kind of in your mind have an idea of where you think you should be, right? And then where you actually are. And so I was like, we got done last week, and I was kind of like, maybe I need to look into a different main. Maybe I need to what's just kind of a little bit discouraged. And so, ended up jumping into, one of the arenas in the Discord, and, Antoine 2100. That's his, 20. What he's got a lot of numbers after his name. So 20,100, I guess, is the actual number. Is a Mario main that was just mowing through everybody in the Discord, like all of us. Like it was the most beautiful thing I'd seen with Mario yet in Ultimate, and I was like, it totally got me fired up, because I was like, okay, I just gotta practice more. Like I watched the things he was doing versus the things I was doing. I saw how much more he just waited for opportunity to deal damage, and then was able to deal a lot of damage. It wasn't just like, a nair to the jab combo. It was like, back air to a grab to, a couple up airs to a fair or an up B. It was just like, okay, there's the potential there. And so that's what I took with me into the lab over the last week. It's just like, okay, I'm going to work on my ladder combo. I'm going to work on getting the back airs down, and
the back airs were noticeable. And I think, were we talking before the show was live? But last night, watching you, because I was either playing you or I was sitting in the stands watching the games happening, and the back airs were coming. You got, I don't know how many, countless KOs with your back airs. That was, one of your most consistent things.
Yeah, probably
more so than spikes or capes or anything else.
Yeah, and it's because, so we've I don't want to sound like a broken record on here, because it's easy to kind of talk about the same things over and over again, but it's trying to grow that arsenal. But then the really the hard thing is for me, and I'm sure we have mentioned it, is just falling back into I have just a habit overall, especially when I'm streaming. Prosperous Cell from the Discord, he referred to it as the Josh jump. Like, the match starts and I jump and throw a fireball. And so, like, I'm like, that's got to stop. Like, I got to stop. Like, if it's getting named something, it's obviously happening too much,
So I've noticed I can get away with a starting Dragon Fang on certain characters. I'm allowed that.
Oh, okay.
But if I go into a match with a Young Link or a Fox or anybody with a faster, longer projectile than what I can get off with a charge shot on a Dragon Fang, or I also need to be careful against certain like Mario, Fox, Falco, any of those characters that can reflect or shoot it right back at me. Like I'm more hesitant to throw it more often. But usually, if I see my matchup, I can know if I can get away with throwing out a big Dragon Fang at the beginning, and it just depends on my matchup.
Yeah. So the other thing, and like we kind of mentioned, just really incorporating what I'm practicing, right? And so then I'll go in and turn the shuffle of the bot, I'll turn that on high as well, so that if I'm working on those combos, I'll be able to the bot will move some, and
they're just trying at that point. Are they just trying to get out of whatever you're doing and get back to neutral?
They'll just kind of like DI a little bit, so you have to kind of anticipate a little bit more and then you can miss. And so what was cool for me last night when we were playing, I almost got Super Nintendo with the ladder combo. All I needed was the up B, and I had turned and went the wrong direction, and otherwise it was going to be like, it was the top platform, it was the up throw to the 2 up airs, and I just needed that up B. It was so close, but I've been hitting that in the lab consistently, right? And so that's kind of what my week has been. It's just ladder combo, back airs, ladder combo, back airs, and then when I'm like, okay, I want to play against human opponents, but I don't want to go into quick match or quick play. What I've been doing is setting up. This is kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier about the arena. Is I set up an arena for 2 people. Just that's it. And since I'm hosting it, I don't have to worry about the host leaving. And I kid you not, it's been like a minute or less. Somebody is in there, and if I beat them a bunch, they'll leave. And if they're beating me, they have a tendency to stay longer, which for me is just like, hey, they're a better player than I am, so this is going to be good practice. And I've really enjoyed that, right? Just like, and sometimes they'll switch characters, and then I might beat them when they play as whatever character, and then they switch again, and then now I have a harder time. And so that has been a really good way for me to practice against other people. Just when I'm like, I've got 10 minutes here, right? Or right before I go to bed, maybe I just want to do a couple matches, but I can just set that arena up real quick on public, no password, and then people will join, because there's such a huge amount of people playing right now that works really well. So if you don't want your quick play stuff, and maybe you're it's late at night, whatever, you don't feel like seeing if somebody wants to play in the Discord, or maybe no one's available, set up an arena with the rule set you want, the stages you want, and that's the thing. Like, I don't like,
if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, well, I don't like going to arenas with more than one person, because now you're sitting and watching, so that's not efficient. And a lot of times it's set up for more than just one. Well, if you also only have 2 people, you have less chance of lag happening too.
Yep. And now you can just turn on the Genesis rule set and just that's what I'm going to do now. Now that I know that that's not a hard thing to get set up and going, I'm going to definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll get the stages set and everything. So the other thing that I did notice for me that I was like an improvement, I guess, is the matches took way longer last night than my matches ever take, right? And I know a part of that was I was just kind of just playing a little more campy, and just kind of like waiting to see what my opponent was going to do, and how could I trying to pick up a pattern or trying to pick up a habit or something that would allow me to. But I mean, I'm looking at the 8-minute counter getting down to like a minute 30 left, and we still have a stock or 2 left, and it was like, okay, this is interesting. But I gotta say, it made the game more fun. I mean, I had people in chat that were like, dude, you are concentrating way too hard right now, but that's just the way it goes,
Quick thing about timer and matches going distance. At Genesis, it's going to be if there is no there is sudden death only if both players die at the same time. So like sudden death from the game does not count towards anything. You'll go to a 1 stock 3-minute playoff game if that's the case. But if you end on time, it's going to come down to stocks first, and if you're tied on stocks, it's going to be lower percentage wins, and that's just where it goes, and that's it. So that's an interesting mechanic to understand and recognize, I guess, if you get down within that last 30 seconds to understand where your damage is, where they are, and maybe play keep away or vice versa. but that's how it's going to play out there.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, well, hey, I think, what did we get? Is this under an hour? Did we do it? We did it.
It might be.
We did it. So cool. Well, we're gonna be able to jump into some games here now. Crawler, why don't you let us know where we can find you?
So, like you guys have all been doing, hanging out in Josh's Discord, n64josh.com/discord. I'm there, Josh is there, lots of people playing games, talking Smash. We have, for all you newcomers, we do have some in-game chat channels set up now so that we can maybe try to keep the Smash channel and other channels on topic, with talking relevant stuff as opposed to in-game chatter back and forth. So keep that in mind when you're in the Discord. But you guys can also follow me on Twitter, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawler's without the E, and same for Twitch, just twitch.tv/Nightcrawler724.
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. It's all at N64Josh. The song you're hearing right now is the Metal Melee theme. You can check out the full video at n64josh.com/Metal Melee. If you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. The chair I'm sitting in is from OPSeat. You want to save $10 off of your purchase, go to n64josh.com/OPSeat. And if you're enjoying the show, if you could leave a review on iTunes, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you have a question or comment, use the hashtag on Twitter or Instagram, AskSBC. Okay? Hashtag AskSBC. And we'll check that before we go live and get your questions or comments or whatever in the show here. And of course, like Crawler said, come hang out in the Discord. We got lots of good people. It's a really good time. And that's n64josh.com/Discord. If you're here with us live, stick around. We're going to do some matches right after this. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next one. Bye now.